Welcome to Left Undone. I am here. I am back. Happy to be here, you guys. It's been a long time. It's going to be a little echoey. I don't have everything set up yet. I just moved. So you see me in the, it's going to be a little echoey. That's all I can say. So happy, hi Kristen, look at you guys. So welcome to Left Undone. If you're new here, please like. And if you like the show, subscribe, obviously, it'd be great. Working on getting to that 10,000 mark here really, really, really soon. Hi, Veronica and Eleni. I just, like I said, I just moved from Oregon back to California. It's my, obviously I have no background. Oh, you can see my wine bottle back there. But I have no background up yet. I have no, the new place is awesome. It's great. But it has super high ceilings, so this won't be where I will be live streaming from. I hope it doesn't, hi Ron, I hope it doesn't sound too echoey. And I don't have my regular microphone hooked up, so I'm using a laptop. But I didn't want to miss this week, obviously, for you guys, because I miss you. And it's been a little while with the move, but I wanted to make sure, because we're going to have a guest tonight, but I will get to that in a minute. He's running a little bit late, so we can talk about some of the other stuff first. I left Oregon, I moved back home, back to Southern California, so I can be closer to the grandbabies and my mom. And oh, it does sound okay. So I'm back here, and I will be here probably for the rest of my days unless something crazy happens. I had to leave my son up there, which is a bummer, and his fiance, but they love it up there. And Jessica, you're asking me what links. Probably just the link to the Discord. If anybody wants to join Discord, we have a Discord. Facebook, I go in and back and forth about expanding Facebook and letting people join, because it's a nice group, but it seems like every time there's new people, it turns into a little bit of a drama-filled place for a minute. And what else, Jessica? Links, you can link to, whatever, just the normal stuff. But for sure, the Discord, you can put that up. Be fun to have more people join the chat in our Discord, because we do sometimes when after things settle down, we'll do more live voice and all that stuff. Okay, yeah, Christina, exactly. Oregon is a nice place to live, but I completely understand. My kids and grandbabies are in Oklahoma. Yeah, it's really hard. And now that my daughter had the second baby, it's just like, oh, I don't know. There's two of them. So I need, yeah, it's totally an echo. It's still so empty. My furniture isn't even here yet. Just the new things that I bought. So it's I'm sorry about the echo. It's just not really conducive. Oh, this is my housewarming present I gave to myself. I hurt myself. So, okay, yeah, so if Jess wants to put up the Discord, or Michelle, or somebody that has the Discord link, that would be great to have people join the Discord. Yes, Jess, Discord, Patreon, and PayPal are all out there as well, for sure. So I want to welcome you to Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I did not. It is sliced, Sally. I actually was trying to open a knife out of a package, because I realized all my stuff is coming. And so I went to Marshall's and I bought some stuff for the house, and I was trying to get a knife out of a package. And I know the way I was opening it, I would have yelled at my kids. But I was staring at the TV, because I do have my cable and my Wi-Fi, obviously. I was staring at the TV, and I was trying to get it out of the package, and it just sliced like right down the knuckle. And I was like, oh man, there ain't no way I can take care of this myself. I know, I'm a freaking hot mess. Hurt my knee, I think my Achilles tendon is messed up right now from whatever I've done. There we go, just got it up there for you guys. And now my finger, which makes it hard to type. So you're not gonna be seeing me typing much right now. And I have to work Monday, so we'll see. I just can't bend it, because it's right, the cut is right on the knuckle. Your dream is to retire to California? Well, I'm out here with the retired people. So even though I'll never retire, probably. But yeah, the Discord is fun, like Michelle says. But I can still hold them, and I'm not that far from them, so I'm excited to be back. It's strange, but it's nice to be back. Oh, Sugar Butt, hello, welcome back, Sugar Butt. So it comes in threes. Yeah. I know I don't have my lighting. I don't have, and it's so super echoey. So I'll get. You're in Arizona. I'm more retired here. Yeah, that's true. Arizona is a great place to retire. I love Arizona. I lived there in the 80s in the Phoenix area, Tempe Mesa. So a couple things before we have my guest. So we do have a guest tonight, and I think you're going to be really interested in what my guest has to say, and I will talk about the guest in a minute. But as far as like the other cases go, Michael Bryson has not been found yet, but I believe there's some momentum in that case. His mom seems to believe that he's passed away. I read her posts a lot. And I guess a young man or someone came forward and gave them some information, and this young person went to rehab. So it does sound like there's possibly some cover up. Maybe Michael overdosed or something. I'm not going to speculate too much on that, but it does sound like that probably could have been what happened. And then as far as Fauna Fry case goes, so when I was on Gray Hughes, there was a woman on the chat that was very nice, said she was a nurse, and kind of chatted with me on the side and wanted to talk to me. So I wound up talking to this person because apparently she felt like information that was shared on Gray Hughes needed to go to the Oregon State Police. So again, I wound up talking to her. She's a nurse. I'm a nurse. She knows her stuff. So I don't doubt that she's a nurse. She and I spoke, and she kept telling me that I need to report what I know, which I don't know anything, to the Oregon State Police because I'm a mandated reporter, which makes no sense because I'm not in the capacity of taking care of anybody right now. Anyhow, she caused quite a bit of drama between me and Gray Hughes. And she told lies and said that Gray Hughes actually told her that we had spoken. It was just weird, okay? It's just weird. It's just cyber drama. And it turned into like a really weird, bizarre thing. And then she went on the Fauna Fry Facebook group and she started bad-mouthing me and my channel on there. And this woman, I couldn't get off the phone with her. She was like talking to me on the phone for 2 hours. My friend Kathy was trying to get a hold of me. I couldn't talk to her. And then she went on the Fauna Fry Facebook group and just started bad-mouthing my channel and bad-mouthing me and bad-mouthing. So it was really weird. So I've stepped back from the Fauna Fry case quite a bit because they don't want me. They basically don't want to give me any more information, which is fine. I mean, I can get information on my own. I'm still waiting for the open records request from the sheriff's department, and they kept her on there. So she's very good at manipulating and saying, and she supposedly has this detective husband named Mac. And it's just really weird, you guys, because, you go on here and I talk to so many people that are so nice and so sweet and so, like my guest that we're going to have tonight, been a source from the beginning with the Daybell case. A great source, like amazing, gave me so much insight, so much background, everything like that. But then you meet somebody, and I'm pretty trusting when it comes to that. I trust until you make me not trust you, and then I'm like, okay, now I don't trust you at all. And so this person wound up just causing all this ruckus, and basically they blasted me on the Fauna Fry state. I have no facts. I just had theories. And I think, as you guys know on crime channels, sometimes the speculation and the talking and putting the ideas, sometimes it actually is quite helpful to make some momentum in cases. So it's weird, you know? So yeah, so sometimes is that the momentum actually helps. And so unfortunately, they blocked me from the Fauna Fry Facebook group, which everybody has a soccer account, so it's not like I can't see and the thing's public. But there's so many other cases out there, you guys, that would love the attention of our community, love the attention of our community. We have a good community. We're almost 10,000 strong. And I think you guys are smart. Like my subscribers have come up with things like the Malachite theory. And you guys have been there, you know, and come up with so many things. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes sense. And we put them out there and look at the things that have come true. Look at the zombie email I got. Look what happened with that. Look how huge that was. And we put it out there, you know, and then it went on Reddit. So it grew big. So anyways, I would like to follow the front of case to see where it goes, but there's a lot of other cases out there that people brought to my attention. So once I get settled in my new house, I'll bring you more and more. And we will continue to become a community that can help. And that's my goal, is to help. But yeah, I don't mind theories. I think that theories are okay. Why can't we have a theory? Why can't we go, wait a minute, why was a 45-year-old woman, they didn't like this. Why was a 45-year-old woman driving from Wolf Creek, which is a known drug area, to Cave Junction, which is also, you know, that's a wild, wild west. The police won't even go into Wolf Creek. Why was she doing that? She had valuables on her of coins worth thousands of dollars. And her car was then all of a sudden found after the channels have started bringing attention to it, Fauna's. There's something fishy. There's stuff they don't want us to know, which is fine. I mean, keep it, but don't make it public. Don't ask people for money. I donated on our behalf of Left Undone. I donated to the Fauna Fry Facebook group. Now, they didn't want, initially when they spoke to me, they didn't want Fauna's dad to know that they had a GoFundMe because he was against it. But they had a particular private eye that they wanted to hire, the friends. And so that's why they were trying to get money together for the GoFundMe. But so I donated on behalf of us. I donated $100, and no big deal, whatever, it's $100 to that. And then they blocked me from the Fauna Fry thing. When I reached out to Jenny and I said, you know, I don't understand why I'm blocked, but whatever. She's like, well, you donated after we're blocked. I did not. I wouldn't. I'm sorry. I would not. I would be too pissed to donate after I was blocked. I did not donate to get back into the group. I can see it. It's public. You know, I have another account like most of us do. So I was just dumb. So anyways, I donated them on behalf of Left Undone. Hopefully they find Fauna. My prayers are with them. I really hope they find her. And I think it would be great that, you know, if she's alive, maybe she just did a Gone Girl thing. Maybe she doesn't want to be found. I was listening to a new podcast today. And it's called, let me see. It's actually really good, but it was called, let me find it. It's called you guys heard it, Tom Brown's Body. And thank you, Kathy. Kathy says, the things that you theorized about in the case with Fauna Fry is nothing the police wouldn't have asked them. You did not do anything wrong. They blocked all of your loyal followers as well. That's right, you guys, they did. They blocked you guys as well. So, but anyways, this podcast is called Tom Brown's Body. And there was a person on there that I thought was really interesting. Okay, does anybody want to time out our friend here? Because this is why you can't come back in Discord, Addie or Sugarbutt or whatever your name is. Don't come in here and start that. This is the stuff that is annoying. You're being a troll right now. So bye-bye. So Tom Brown's Body, there was a person interviewed in there that actually, thank you. There's a person in there that actually finds people that wish not to be found. So maybe he would be a good one on the Fauna case, because some of the stuff she bought and stuff, I kind of wonder in a way if she is one of those people that doesn't want to be found. Be interesting to find out in the end what happens with her case, for sure, because it's really interesting for sure. But I've been dismissed, and I wasn't even, I wasn't even hired by them, but I've been dismissed. So whatever, there's people out there that went. So I just got my house set up with the smart house stuff, with the Google Nest. And I can literally lock my front door, and I can cool it off from my phone, which I'm going to do right now. So tell me if that, when the AC blows, if it's too loud. My hunch is that she was considering suicide. I feel friends for him. Yeah, and that's the thing with the Fauna. Maybe she was committing. Her sister committed suicide, and Fauna found her body on a hiking trail. She left a note and led Fauna there years before, I think in 2006. So maybe she was going to do the same kind of thing. I mean, maybe, right? Very possible. So anyways, and then you guys, I'm not just stalling. My guest did ask me if he could come on at about 30 minutes after the hour because he got tied up. So I thought, yeah, because we have stuff to talk about anyway, so we'll talk first, and then we'll have him come on. Janet says, hi, Kathy. Any word on Letitia Stalk? It's been pretty quiet. Also with Suzanne Morphew case, does anybody know if she was wearing jewelry? Does anybody know about that? Again, I've kind of been like a little bit out of the loop with the move. So if anybody, Kathy says they have released all the contents that were in a car. Okay, so her family got all that back, her dad, Kathy? Good to know. Kathy was muted over there. They didn't kick her out, at least. One person didn't get kicked or blocked, but Kathy was muted. Oh, there's my friend Kyle. Love you, Kathy. So glad you're back and getting settled in. Thank you, Kyle. Very much appreciated. Love you too. You've been awesome for the channel. I really appreciate it. And thanks for being a member. You guys can become members. We will be back on track with our Friday happy hours. And we will get back on track with our Saturday morning live streams. What do you guys think? Like, someone told me that I should have a late night stream occasionally. Do you guys, any of you are interested in me doing a late night live stream from time to time or consistently or anything like that? Okay, so Christina says she's not hearing anything about jewelry. Yes, yes, yes. Is that to the, Veronica, are you saying yes to the late night? Oh, Isabel says, okay, so we're talking about Suzanne Morphew. And she says, I heard she was wearing pearls, dressed for a romantic dinner out. Okay, I didn't know that. See, I'm behind on the Suzanne Morphew. How late? I know, right? How late? Well, it won't be too late. Well, I'm on Pacific time, so Cheryl, what's your time zone? I know, yeah, people like the late night. So maybe once a month we'll do a late night. Late to me would be probably come on at 9 o'clock Pacific. That would be late, or 8:30 Pacific. It's not that late Pacific time, but it's late for you East Coasters like Eleni and, you know. And I'd be so curious to see if they found traces of blood evidence anywhere in the Morphew case. Yeah, super interested in all that. Suzanne Morphew case just kind of, I'm still in a pickle with that because I feel like there's been such a witch hunt on Barry. Not that I think he's innocent, but it's been such a witch hunt, and my heart goes out to the daughters, you know, knowing that so Veronica, Wisconsin, is that East Coast or Mountain or Central or Eastern time? Okay, now Lynn says no, she was not dressed for a romantic dinner because of COVID. Everything was closed for indoor dining. Barry and Suzanne had a sandwich and were spotted in town on Saturday around 4 p.m. Thank you, Eleni, for the super sticker. Much appreciated. The donation, $10. I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Eleni. Eleni's been a wonderful support of the channel from the beginning as well. Very supportive. Very, very, very supportive. I'm going to look at my email real quick just to see if my guest isn't updated or anything. I expect him to pop in here. Yep. When he's available. My legal opinion, there was foul play and he was involved. Thank you, Eleni. Yeah. Interesting though, right? Because yeah, Jess, the merchandise link would be great too. So we do have merchandise, everyone. There is, the Left Undone merchandise is out there. And Gray Hughes was nice enough to give me let me go get it. I'm gonna get it. I want you to see. I haven't even gotten in touch with them yet, but I got my Freak Nurse mug from Gray Hughes. Wasn't that nice? He sent that to me. That was super sweet. I appreciate it. And you know, I know you guys, like, some of you think he's like pretty rough and gruff around the edges and stuff. My dad was like that, and bark is worse than the bite, that kind of thing. So, and he does do a lot of good things. So I'm super cool with him. I think he's been fine, you know. I know that people like him don't rub me the wrong way for whatever reason. So, John, the guy. Okay, so let me catch up with you guys. Penny Sue, can't understand why you don't have more subscribers because you're a fantastic Verbal Kitchen. Oh, I am a hidden gem, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. But we've said that before. I don't know. I don't pay for a whole bunch of, like, you can pay for to help with the algorithm and the keywords and all that stuff. And I don't pay for all that to get my videos boosted. So it's word of mouth, and it's as people find me, you know. And so that's where we're at. But it's grown. I mean, back in January, I probably had 30 subscribers. So we're doing fabulous, to be honest. And I appreciate it. And thank you, Michelle. Thank you for the super sticker. Very much appreciated. You are sweet. Thank you very, very, very much. I try to focus, she's talking to Lynn, on concrete things. Some people just seem odd after a loss. Doesn't mean they are guilty. Yeah, so I'm not convinced that Barry did it. I'm just not. But I'm not convinced that he didn't do it either. But I feel like there's been such an attack on him, like on social media, that it's almost scary. I feel like if somebody in my family went missing or whatever, the witch hunt people would come after me. You know what I mean? Just based on speculation and rumor. Now we do that. That's what we do on true crime. But I just can't do the attack. Like, okay, Lori and Chad was a whole different story completely, because they were I mean, you know where your children are one way or another, right? Like, you don't just lose your children and not care. Kind of a little bit different. You know what I mean? So, again, if you're new here, if you're from some other country or something, say hello and tell us you're new and tell us where you're at. I really appreciate that. Ruth, okay. Not sure how I ended up on this live stream. I live in Colorado, though, and from day one, I think her husband killed her. Lots of places here to hide a body. Yeah, that's how Oregon was, too. Like, you could hide people, no problem. You could probably do it here, too. I mean, all you got to do is go out in the open areas, you know, the forest, the desert, wherever. I have family members who are stoic, might not look devastated even if they weren't right. And that, you know, sometimes it's a cultural thing. You know, I've seen some of these moms, you know, that get attacked. Like, who's the one little girl that's missing, and they attacked the mom because she's pregnant because she ate pizza and because she didn't break down, but her English was her second language, and you could see she was very much kind of trying to articulate her feelings and everything in English, and it wasn't coming across the way it did once she was able to speak Spanish. When she spoke Spanish, she started bawling, you know. So, you know, I just don't know. We can't. I just have a hard time accusing anyone, flat out accusing. I can say suspicious, but I have a hard time accusing, you know. Yeah, they did put their house up for sale. Did put their house up for sale, but I don't blame them on that one at all. I mean, obviously, she's gone. She hasn't returned. And the girls aren't going to want to be there. Thank you, Sandra Ray, for the super sticker. I really appreciate that very, very much. Very, very, very much. Has anyone checked out the employee's Facebook page, Cassidy Cordova? Now that's in the Morphew case. No, I haven't. Has anyone? Anyone? Thank you guys for the donations. Super sweet. Let's see here. Let's see. Redfin and Zillow, and the property address was used as Poncha, whatever it is. So there is that, and it's not a good look. You have to address exactly as you appear on tax ID. Oh, interesting. I don't know. The house is, yeah. I mean, people hesitate. I just saw an advertisement on YouTube for a show called Murder House, where people go in and buy these houses where people were murdered, and they remodel them, I renovate them. Thought that was really interesting. Barry went to Suzanne's father and said he loved, past tense, to his daughter and tried to get him signed papers. Yeah, I heard something about that too. Crazy, right? Oh, okay. Well, our guest is here, so I'm going to let him in. I just want you guys to know that, you know, he's been part of my channel from a long time as a support person with information. He's connected not to the Lori Vallow case, but has a connection to Julie Rowe and to Christopher Parrott, all these people in the background, Aval, he was a member. And so I'm gonna let him in right now, and you guys can just go ahead and welcome Adam.
Hey, Kathy.
Hi, Adam.
How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, it's been a crazy day. Sorry I'm late.
You're fine.
My wife's vehicle broke down, and so I was taking care of that.
You're fine. We were chatting about Suzanne Morphew and all the other cases, so very much appreciated that you're here. So everybody's saying hello.
Hi, everybody.
I don't know if you can see the chat, but.
Let me see if I can get it going here.
So as you guys know, Adam has been following this case from the very, very beginning, and he's been part of my channel. I mean, we lost him. He'll come back. Adam, you left us? Oh, here he comes. Okay, let me get you back in. Here you are. There you are.
I'm not gonna push any more buttons.
Don't push buttons. You'll disappear. So I got some questions, and so basically, if you guys don't know who Adam Vance is, he's been following the case. And he has a lot of information and background and all that kind of stuff as far as Julie Rowe, Christopher Parrott, people that are connected to the Daybell, Lori Vallow case in a lot of ways. And so he is here to answer your questions and mine. And I really appreciate you being here. So nice.
Well, it's great being here, Kathy. And I want to thank you because you've been you're one of the pioneers really that has been covering this, on YouTube, and you've been very fair, and I appreciate particularly that you've been very easy on the LDS Church. I'm LDS, and it's very easy to point fingers and blame to the church when really it's some bad decisions from a few people that have really done some bad things. So I appreciate the fair and balanced view that you've given everything.
Thank you. Yeah, I tried really hard from the beginning and not let go down that rabbit hole or that, because you can say anything about any religion, you know what I mean? And
Sure.
and blame the whole religion on what two
Right.
terrible people did. And that
Right.
has nothing to, honestly, in my opinion, has nothing to do with being LDS. It has to do with
Absolutely.
being
Right. Yeah.
wackadoodles.
That's right.
So, as you guys know, there has been some controversy with the whole Julie Rowe, and Adam has some insight and stuff. So I'm just going to ask him a few questions about all that. So first of all, how did you come to know Julie Rowe?
Well, so one thing I want everyone to know is that I'm no longer connected with Julie Rowe. So I don't have an ongoing any communication relationship with her. But I got to know Julie Rowe through Avow. I was actually a paying subscriber on Avow. That's another voice of warning, and that's Christopher Parrott is the one who runs that website. And it's a website which he has many thousands of subscribers, or at least he did at the time. And it's kind of a prepping for tribulations, getting food storage prepared, and the majority of the audience is Latter-day Saint, but there are people from all walks of life on the website. And I probably joined it around 2012 because just as a Christian, we read the scriptures, and we see a lot of that we're in tumultuous times, and you think, okay, how can I get ready for these things? How can I prepare my family? How can I have a little bit set aside? And I've never considered myself an extreme prepper or anything, but as Latter-day Saint, I do believe in having like a year's supply of food set aside and having my debts paid off. And it's not even necessarily, because the world is about to end. It's like, you could have unemployment, and there's times where, things have been tight, and, we've relied on our food storage. So it's just kind of a practical type thing. And it's not something that should be based on fear. But I did become involved in Avow, and it definitely can become a platform which can instill fear into people. People tend to, really focus on things, and some people just get really carried away into preps and things like that. And it's easy to become involved in that kind of spirit of fear rather than kind of a hopeful spirit of just being prepared, but continue planting your cherry trees from day to day. And I came to know Julie Rowe in Avow, and she was a member on Avow, and she started sharing experiences, saying that she had near-death experiences. And from the beginning, I've always, I believe that people have had near-death experiences. I believe that, I believe in the other side. I believe in the spirit world and things like that. And of course, you have those people who have had true experiences, and you have those that, well, maybe they're trying to profit, or maybe they did have an experience, but they're taking it too far. But Julie, in the beginning, I really believed what she was sharing with people, that she had this near-death experience, and it seemed very credible. There was nothing, that was really strange, or it seemed to kind of fit with other people's near-death experiences. And as she shared more, there was kind of a division in Avow. There was people that were really against her and the things that she shared about having a near-death experience, and there was those people that kind of sided with her and said, she seems to be coming from an honest place, and she's really sharing an experience that she had. So and I was kind of one of those people that was kind of batting for her. And so that's how I became friends with her. And then I finally saw her in person in one of her speaking engagements, and got her phone number, and we started talking regularly and having meetings, and it just kind of goes on from there. I could keep going, but I don't want to stray too far off from your question, but that's how I got to know her.
Okay, that's how you got to know her. Very cool. And so, and that was your answer to how you are connected to Avow. And yeah, so that makes sense right there. Now, many people call this a cult. What do you think about that? Do you feel like Avow or any of the way it's all connected, are they part of the cult? Are they the cult? Or did Lori and Chad make their own? What's your thoughts on the whole cult idea?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I tread really carefully with the word cult. I think it's an easy go-to word for the media and people to kind of I don't know, exaggerate things and just make it sound really exciting, I guess. I'd like to call it more like a fringe group than a cult, because most of these people who do buy into this, you may have heard of the principle of the call out. I'm not sure if you and your listeners know too much about that, but that is one of the big principal beliefs on a vow, and I'll explain it quickly. The call out is something that it's not a doctrine that is spoken of in the LDS Church but there are a lot of people in a vow that believe that the time will come where the president of the LDS Church, who we consider to be a prophet, that everyone who's prepared and has their 1-year supply are going to be called to go to the mountains with their food supply and live in tent cities, and Julie Rowe pushed that principle, and there are things even in the Bible and the scriptures where the Lord has called his people away for a time. So it's one of those things where, like, the average person would say, well, that sounds like something that could happen. But something I do want to make clear, it's not a principle that is taught in the church. It's not something you hear them on the pulpit saying, oh yeah, there's gonna be the time where we're gonna be called out into the mountains. There may be people may take certain talks or certain scriptures and extrapolate that and say, well, that's what the call out is, we're going to be going to the mountains. But it's one of those things, in my understanding, is that hearing more about the call out and hearing LDS apostles saying, no, the church is all over the world, it's not going into hiding anymore. We have the stakes in the church, which are basically you have your congregations, and so many congregations forming a stake, and the apostles saying, no, the people will stay within their stakes. There's not going to be some, so that's been my understanding over the years. But I did adhere to that call out principle for a while and believe it. It was pushed big time by Julie Rowe, but there was just this overriding, there was just something underneath it all that didn't feel right. It didn't feel right to me. And so, getting back to your question about it being a cult, I wouldn't necessarily call these people cult members or anything like that, because the majority of them are Latter-day Saints. They go to church every Sunday with every other Latter-day Saint. Yeah, they probably have their own little meetings. Chad, it sounds like Chad, he got together and had meetings with people. And yes, Hannah says the LDS Church doesn't sanction a vow. That's important to know. And we are taught that we don't get into debt, and we're getting prepared. It's just basic provident things. It's not the church doesn't teach fear mongering. It's not we're all supposed to be a bunch of preppers and prepare for the second coming of Christ or anything like that. So I'm glad Hannah said that, because it is important that a vow is disconnected from the church. It's its own private group. But yeah, I like to call it more like a fringe group than a cult, because these people are, they are espousing their own ideas, their own principles that isn't being taught in the church. And there seems to be a big spirit of, they say if you're prepared, you shall not fear. And that's said in the church. And that's true. I think that's true for all of us. If we're prepared, we're not going to fear. But there was a big spirit of fear. And I even caught into that spirit of fear. And I found myself buying more supplies and things like that. And it was really easy to get onto that fear bandwagon. Like, oh no, the stock market's crashing. This is it. It's like any major catastrophe. Like, oh, this is it. This is, the tribulation has started. And so yeah, but to answer your question, I like to call it more of a fringe group rather than a cult.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I mean, I listen to like Dave Ramsey, and he is a Christian, like non-denominational Christian podcast radio guy. And his big thing is no debt, like do not have debt.
Absolutely.
And so it's just really, and it says that in the Bible, like, the debtor is a slave to the lender. And so it makes sense not to have debt. And that makes, those principles make a lot of sense. And I think across the board. So,
right. Yeah, and I think it's really important for your viewers to understand that Latter-day Saints.
Oh, we lost him again. He'll be back. Adam fell off the let's see if he pops back in. He touched a button probably again. Adam, did you touch a button? Did you touch a button? So we'll wait for him to come back. But yeah, many people are prepared for a catastrophe. I mean, just like when COVID happened, nobody could get toilet paper. Where's the toilet paper? I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm ordering like crappy toilet paper, hoping I get it. All the canned food, everything. So everybody went a little bit. So if you were prepared, you would have not had to deal with that. Did you touch a button?
I didn't touch a button. It just dropped, so I'm not sure what happened.
That's okay. I'm sure it's internet signal or whatever.
Right. But what I was saying, Kathy, was that I think Latter-day Saints as a whole, you're always going to have, individuals are individuals, but Latter-day Saints as a whole and what we're taught, it's not fear mongering. It's being hopeful for the future, but being prepared at the same time. So, and I think the best word, the church's website, it was providentliving.org or something like that, but I think that's a good word. It's just being provident, like you were saying, like it teaches in the Bible. We want to be prepared for a rainy day, and that gives you peace in your life, and so you can be prepared for dismal situations. So.
Right. Just like with the whole COVID thing, when we ran out of toilet paper, if you were prepared, you would have toilet paper.
Forget about food, but we need toilet paper.
Toilet paper was a big thing. Yeah. So thank you. Appreciate that very much. So, okay, here's the next question I have is, so what do you know about Chad Daybell and his relationship with Julie Rowe? Do you know anything about that?
Well, I never personally knew Chad. I just knew of him through Julie, and with my relationship with Julie, she, obviously she linked up with Chad to be her publisher for her books. She started publishing her books about her near-death experiences and things related to that. And as I talked to Julie and in confidence, on phone calls, she and Chad had a great relationship. And one thing that really stuck out to me was that what she liked about Chad was she said that Chad, unlike other publishers, he wouldn't try to change her writing. And I found that to be really interesting because it seemed like in the end, Julie, when things went rough, Julie backed away from Chad and said the opposite, that he was wanting to change her writings. And, so that was kind of a point of confusion for me, because that she personally told me that she really liked Chad because he didn't change her writings. He let her write what she wanted to write.
Yeah. And then, when things change, Julie changes.
Yeah, I'm being very careful with my words. I'm trying to
Absolutely.
I'm trying to be charitable, and yet the reason why, and maybe I should have said this at the beginning, Kathy, but the reason why I'm sharing this with people is one way is to help Julie, because there are other channels and there's crime channels out there saying that Julie is connected to the Chad Daybell case. Now, do I know that for sure? Because I haven't been communicating with Julie for a few years, a couple years, 2 or 3 years. But I can almost absolutely guarantee she has no connection to the Chad Daybell case, except that she knew Chad, they're friends. But I know that she backed away from him quite a while back when there was some disagreements with, her books and the sales. And she herself said that, Chad wanted her to buy all these books back, and because the sales were plummeting. And so, yeah, I think their relationship kind of separated at that time, even before Lori and Chad were a item,
Good to know. Yeah, because I have seen that like speculation out there where people are saying that she was part of it and part of the planning and part of the murders and all this stuff. And I never got that sense from Julie, except for the fact that, Julie's Julie and she has her agenda up for herself,
Absolutely.
and she does.
Absolutely. And I won't shy away from saying that, Julie is very interested in making money and making a business off this. It's very obvious. She charges for She charges for her energy healing classes, and she travels all over the country. I personally believe it really went to her head when she started becoming popular with her books and whatnot, and and maybe a little pride entered in there, or a lot of pride entered in there, and it just knowing people that knew her, and expecting, a lot of her friends had money, and expecting her friends to buy her new wardrobes for television interviews and things like that. And people started waking up and backing away, and it was kind of unfortunate to, when, I guess it can happen to any of us, when we get a little bit of attention and we feel like we're somebody special, it can go to our heads and we can go too far with things.
Right. Yeah. We've seen it for sure. But that's good to know that you don't feel like she has anything to do with them, because I know, I feel like that's kind of like, I was talking about the Suzanne Morphew case. Do I think that Barry had something to do with it? I don't know, but I can't flat out say, oh, he murdered his wife. Just like I can't, Julie Rhodes doesn't. There's no real connection. There's no evidence of any kind of connection that has to do with Lori and Lori's kids and Chad Daybell and Julie Rhodes. So,
well, and if there were a connection, that the police would have been all over it. The FBI would have been all over it already. And there's just, I know Julie well enough to where, I think Julie is a person. I think she really does care about people. I'm absolutely convinced. And the only reason I say this, because Julie has said it publicly, because I do respect people's health issues, and, publicizing that. But she's publicized that she struggles with mental health issues. And I have personally seen that, and we can get into that, when you want to talk about it. But, that's definitely a big part of all of this. And that was a big wake up call to me, where I had to reassess my relationship with her, my involvement in a vow, my whole attitude towards this call out principle, and just everything. I had to kind of have a change of heart with everything.
No, it makes sense, because when you was like, oh, a lot of this is their own struggle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and people with mental health issues, they believe what they're saying. I on a nurse advice line, and people would call me and tell me, I can't put clothes on. I have to be in my underwear because they're watching me, and they're this, and they can see me through their TV, and different things, that paranoia. So, I mean, people that struggle with mental health issues know that sometimes that they know.
And there was a lot of fear and paranoia with Julie. She's publicly spoken about her security teams, and she maybe she has received death threats, but I really did see a big element of fear that something was going to happen to her, and that she had to have security. And maybe that was part of the code language, speaking in code and whatnot, is because of this fears inside of herself. So yeah, I definitely saw that, and I just started piecing things together.
Yeah, that makes sense. So as far as like code goes, what is the scoop on the voicemail? Was that really your voicemail? Was it, tell us about the voicemail. This is the big question that's been all over the other channels. And
yes, well, the voicemail, and this is the number one reason why I was so happy that you invited me to come onto your channel, is because people are connecting this voicemail to the Chad Daybell Lori Vallow case. This voicemail has no connection whatsoever, and I've tried to get online and make comments. You've seen my comments on YouTube, and people think I'm lying and making things up, and I really just want to get the message out that, number one, I know that Julie is not connected to the case, okay? And this voicemail comes from, I want to say June 2016. I don't remember the date. Do you remember? I said it before. I think it was June 2016. That is when, that's when I was talking regularly to Julie. We might talk 2, 3, 4 times a week, and we'd have meetings with other people, and, talk about, things that were going on, and, preparedness and whatnot. Well, I don't remember the reason for the call. All that I recall is that I gave Julie a call, and I happened to be having vehicle problems with my wife's minivan. And guess what? It's the same minivan. And we're about to get rid of it. We're tired of putting money in this thing. But there was an issue with the minivan, and it wasn't the focal point of the conversation. There was probably another reason why I called her. I don't remember what that reason was, but the minivan was just a side note. Like, maybe it was, I have to call you back at a later time because the family minivan is broke down, and I have to deal with that. And so I I left her a message, and she called me back, and she left me that voicemail. And that voicemail, it was filled with all of these code type language. And she did say, she goes, "Hey, Adam," a lot of people think it says Alex, and is that Lori's brother, right? It says Adam. It says, "Hey, Adam, I'm calling about your van situation," or something to that effect. And which I don't know why she would be calling about my van situation, but a couple things that was the biggest wake up call for me, that Julie was really struggling. She was really struggling with some health issues. And when I heard that voicemail, and I only shared it at the time with my fellow admins, because I was and we'll talk about Pathway Design in a second, but I was an admin on Pathway Design, and I shared, I digitized that voicemail, and I shared it out of concern with fellow admins. We did not make it public. We didn't share it with the members of Pathway Design, because I noted in that voicemail, Julie, the tone of Julie's voice. If you listen to her podcast and whatnot, you're familiar with her voice. You're familiar with the tone. You're familiar with the timbre of her voice. And there's something that was not right with her voice. And I deduced it to being that she was either heavily medicated, or she was having some type of serious health related episode when she called me. And a lot of people are trying to, this code all means something. Well, maybe it does in her mind. Maybe it does in her mind. But that code to me, except for knowing that she was intimating, making, suggestions that the call out is here, it's about to come, get things ready. I mean, yeah. I think anyone could extrapolate that from the code she was speaking in. But besides that, the grass is green, toenails are painted, pedicure is on the rise, manta is on the rise, or whatever that word was. Those are things that I did not understand. And my question would be to people who are questioning whether this is some type of code language she's trying to communicate in. Well, what good is that code language to me if I don't have a way of interpreting it? So to me, it was just a rambling of, there was something going on within Julie, and it was a rambling of things within her mind. Maybe in her mind it makes sense, but it made absolutely no sense to me. It made absolutely no sense to other administrators that also knew Julie. And so it was, and this wasn't the first time we'd seen such things from Julie. When she was a member on Pathway Design, all of a sudden she would make a post, and it would be all of this ranting and garbling and citing lyrics to songs that were quite inappropriate for the audience. Maybe some that would have curse words or inappropriate language. And Julie, when in her normal Julie, she's not a person that cusses. She's not a person that uses foul language. That's not Julie. But there were times where she would put these long posts and say things, and using inappropriate language. And we finally had to shut her down off of Pathway Design, because we were concerned for her. We were concerned for her. We were concerned for her reputation. We were concerned for her family. She has a wonderful family. She has wonderful children. Her husband is just an absolute, we met him personally. They've been over to our home. Her husband is just a wonderful guy. And I must say, a very patient man. That voicemail was from 2016, has no connection whatsoever to the Chad Daybell case. It was a personal exchange between me and Lori. And I think it's unfortunate that certain people are really trying to make it more than what it is, because there's just no connection to, and maybe people don't want to believe me, but I want to bat for Julie, because I don't want her to be falsely accused of being involved in the Daybell case. I really don't. Now, like I said, I don't talk to Julie. I haven't talked to her for years. When people start questioning her, she cuts them off. And when I started questioning things, and she saw that, she cut me off. I was kind of blacklisted, like other people have been blacklisted. When they start questioning, the things are getting real weird. Things are getting strange. This doesn't sound right. She's gone. She stopped communicating. So, but if people don't want to believe it, I don't know what else to say. But that's the truth of the matter. I don't remember if I sent it to you, but I do have evidence of email exchanges with Julie dating back to 2016. So I do have that evidence that we communicated via email back in 2016. But I'm not concerned. I don't feel like I have to prove myself. People can feel it out and they can know within themselves if what's true and what's not. So.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Like, just as a kind-hearted person, for her to be falsely accused of having to do with the murder of those two children, big, big deal. I mean, she has family, she has children, she has, a reputation, even though not everybody agrees with what she thinks or her platform. But the fact that if she is not connected to Chad and Lori murdering the children, then that's a big accusation. I mean,
it's
that's
huge, and that was my number one reason for wanting to bring this out public, because otherwise I don't have any reason. I'm not interested in gaining attention for myself. It takes courage for me to get online and talk, to thousands of people like this,
right.
and try to do so in a way where I'm not hurting people. I don't want to hurt Julie Rowe. My heart goes out to her and her family for everything that they've gone through. I think Julie, deep down in her heart of hearts, I think she really does have a love for people and she wants to help people. But unfortunately, I also personally believe that she's been overtaken by dark, insidious spirits. She's been excommunicated from the church. And, we read in the Bible, you shall know them by their fruits, and I know people who have been financially devastated. Divorces have taken place. Families have been broken apart. Retirements have been spent. Homes have been second mortgages taken out on homes because of the message that Julie Rowe shares with people. Now, you shall know them by their fruits, right? So we have to ask ourselves, what are those fruits? So while I don't want to destroy a person or their reputation, I feel at the same time, because I was so closely involved into it, I feel like the Lord at least has an expectation of me to kind of warn and tell people to be careful, be really careful. I don't care what church you belong to. Follow your church leaders. Your church leaders, usually you're going to that church for a reason. You trust your pastor, you trust your bishop, you have a trust in them, and you believe that they're doing the right thing. And I think it's important that we kind of follow our authority figures. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it really does. And yeah, and she, in a lot of ways, and that's what I see too, not LDS, but she's kind of been led astray based on what she is able to get, the attention, the money, that she's making from it. And her path went a little off, way off. And that's why she was excommunicated, obviously, because she's not following the teachings.
Right. She specifically said in her video where she brought out her excommunication, she said she was excommunicated because her stake president, which is the leader over a group of wards or congregations, he asked her to stop practicing energy healing. Is that what it's called? Energy healing. And she refused to do it. And so, she made her choice. I think, I don't want to speak for her, but I think sometimes fame and fortune and, if you looked at the prices of what she was charging for her energy healing sessions, it's not a small amount. There's a lot of money to be made from that. So
yeah, it sounds like it.
It's a good message for all of us to really be careful of pride, to be careful how, don't, when we put our love for money before our love for God or our fellow man, we all need to be careful with that kind of stuff.
Right. Absolutely. So at this point, you don't have any relationship with Julie Rowe. You're just distant, used to know her.
Right. I'd like to address Isabel's comment, if I may, Kathy.
Okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Isabel. I'm trying to have the right attitude and warn others. And, but Julie Rowe, I have absolutely no bad feelings towards her. I feel love towards her. I feel love towards her as my, as a daughter of God, like I feel love towards you as a daughter of God. And I want the best for her. And she has an amazing family. So she's doing the right thing. She has kids that are serving the Lord in missions, and she's doing the right thing. But there are people that are being hurt by the message, and it caused dissension in my marriage. My wife and I got into fights and arguments about it because I got too carried away. It was taking time away from the attention I should have been giving my wife and my family, and it swallows you up. It kind of swallows you up. It's like any of us can get caught up into something too much, where it takes away our time and it becomes our priority, and they're usually not healthy things. So I think it's something, you shall know it by their fruit, be it a message, be whatever. There should be balance to something that's good. It should be something that helps your family and edifies your family and lifts your family. But it was doing the opposite for me and my family and many other people that unfortunately.
And there you go. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, are you still part of a vow?
No, I have not been part of a vow. So when I began setting up Pathway to Zion, it was my Pathway to Zion was my idea.
Oh.
And the reason why I didn't come up with a name, someone else came up with a name, but my idea was to form a platform because there was a lot of contention going on in a vow. I wanted a platform that was friendly to Julie at the time, and friendly and that wasn't filled with so much contention and arguments and whatnot. So just a peaceful place where people could come on and feel safe to share things, whether you agree or disagree. You don't have to believe in one way or the other, but you have to be willing to not have an attitude of contention and be accusational and stuff like that. So I came up with the idea. Hector, who was also a member of a vow and a supporter of Julie, he's the one that did all the technical part. He set up the platform. He's a computer whiz, and he did all that. So while I came up with the idea, Hector did all the work as far as getting the site set up, and I helped set up all the different categories and whatnot. And Julie really liked that idea. She liked the idea that there would be a friendly place for her, that where her supporters or whoever would come on and without a contentious attitude. So remind me of your question. I'm sorry, I tend to veer off.
Oh no, you're fine. I was just about the vow. Are you still involved with them? So you're
okay. Yeah. Thank you. So when I began Pathway to Zion, I started personally messaging friends of mine on a vow. And now a vow is a subscription. You have to pay for it. Pathway to Zion, there was no money to be made. It was free. You just had to use your real name. We didn't want people hiding behind, fake names and whatever. We wanted people to be accountable and use their real name and use a picture of themselves. And so I started messaging some of my close friends on a vow. Well, word got to Christopher Parrott that I was doing that, and he was enraged and sent me the scathing message saying that you are forever banned from a vow for I don't remember, recruiting, I think the word is, which I found really strange, because it's like, well, here's a website, go to Google or go to I don't know, go to this website and check this out. It's not like I'm taking away subscribers or trying to make money or anything like that. So it was really surprising to me that Christopher just was so rude about it to me and just banned me like that. But I was like, fine, it wasn't a big deal at the time. But that's and that happened, gosh, that's been a few years now since that happened. So to me it was just kind of like, well, if you're gonna have that attitude, good riddance.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I haven't been on a vow for quite a few years.
Oh, okay, interesting. So did you personally know Christopher?
I did not personally know Christopher. I just knew Christopher just through a vow, just through his messages, except for that couple exchanges of where he communicated to me, or he might have commented in a thread of a post that I put in a vow or something like that. But besides that, no, I didn't know Christopher personally.
Okay. So I'm sure that is there anything else you want to say before I ask if anybody else has questions? Anything you can think of?
I would just like to remind everyone that be careful how you judge others, and be careful of people who try to use religion or maybe scripture in such a way to push agendas that aren't accepted by the majority. Getting involved in, like I said, fringe groups. Be really careful of that, because I even though I always kept my hand out, a couple feet with Julie Rowe. I mean, there was a time, and this is quite personal, but I'll share this with you. When I was really wrapped up into this idea about a call out principle, everyone was, not everyone, but a lot of people were buying tents and getting prepared and things like that. I actually got down on my knees and I prayed. I prayed, I prayed to the Lord, should I get a tent? And you know what the answer I got to that prayer was? No. But the answer I did get was, get out of debt and have your year's food storage as you're taught. That was my answer. And it gave me great peace. And that was part of my moving away from all of that. And it was a learning experience for me. Now, can I say that another person who prayed about getting a tent and was told to get one, well, maybe that's for them. Maybe there is a time they're going to need a tent. I don't know. But for me personally, I had all these voices telling me, yeah, you need to get a tent because you're going to be called out to the mountains and all this stuff. Well, I went to the source. I went to my Father in heaven and I asked him and I got my answer. That was my answer for my family. So anyone else telling me to do that, it's like, no, I went directly to the man upstairs and he gave me my answer. So, but yeah, I would just be cautious as, people stick to what you know is true, stick to your church leaders, whatever church it is that you're in, follow the spirit. We read about the fruits of the Holy Ghost in the scriptures. It's about peace. It's not about fear. If we're coming from a place of fear, if a message is causing us to fear, I don't think that we can usually count on that not coming from a right place. Yes, I'm active in the LDS Church right now, Lori.
Yeah. And so here's a question from me. So Linda, It's a Crime, her whole channel has had this controversial code about this voicemail back and forth. And she has made it clear that she is dealing with you directly about this. But have you guys worked that out so that she understands that it might have been a code in Julie's, but it had nothing to do with the Chad, Daybell, Lori? Have you spoken with Linda at all yet?
Okay. So your Linda is the channel where she was thinking that this code somehow tied in. She understood Alex. She was careful to say, I don't know for sure,
Right.
And I think she was attempting to, see if there's any ties here with the Chad, Daybell, Lori Vallow case. And I'm sorry, you cut out at the first part of your question.
I was just wondering if you were able to speak with her about that, because I read so many comments over there where they were like, a lot of people in the comments were so sure that the voicemail was this code, and that it had like 60,000 views. So I just wondered if you were ever able to communicate with Linda that what you just said here, that this is.
Yeah, I did communicate with Linda. I reached out to her. And I let her know, I gave her my take, who I was. I told her that I was the recipient of the voicemail. And I said, this voicemail goes back to 2016. And she actually spoke about it online to her viewers and everything. And she brought up my name, and it was a live viewing. And I was typing my comments and trying to answer her questions, but that's really hard to do, because she's not seeing all of my answers. And so a lot of people were like, this Adam guy keeps on repeating the same things, and he keeps on saying this and that, and he's just not, fully explaining himself. Well, it was a really difficult way to communicate. And I did reach out to Linda, and she said, even in the live feed, she said that she was going to reach out to me, but I've never heard back from her, unfortunately. And so that's why I'm grateful for the opportunity, because I know a lot of her viewers were really interested in hearing from me. And I wanted to be able to communicate, because that trying to communicate while she's live and I'm typing, you got all these messages coming through and she's missing half of what I'm saying and I'm repeating myself and whatnot. So it was unfortunate. I don't know why maybe she got busy or something. I'm not sure why she hasn't gotten back to me, but it's something that many of her viewers had questions about, who is this guy saying this? Is this guy for real? There's a couple people that believe me, but I got a lot of nasty comments from people on the channel, and it's like, okay, what can I do about it? So.
Right. Yeah. There's a question from Melissa. Why was the voicemail kept or released? And what did he think about the voicemail and what it mean to him? Well, he already kind of covered what it meant to him, but why did you keep it?
Well, that's a very good question. The reason why we kept as far as not making it public, right? Well, it was to protect Julie and her family. I didn't want to hurt her. I didn't want to, speak badly of her. We were coming from a place of love, that there's concerns here, and this doesn't sound good, and so we kept it under the lid, and we explained to the members of Pathway to Zion that due to I don't remember exactly how we worded it, but due to concerns with some of Julie's posts and things that she said, we're removing her from Pathway to Zion for now to protect her. And so it was basically just to protect her, just to we didn't want to publicly humiliate anyone, and so it was just kind of kept private. And then it went viral because the my voicemail went out to other people, and as things do, they go viral. And then it gets on YouTube, and when they started trying to make connections to the murder of these children and other people, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to say something. I felt kind of responsible, like it was my duty to have to say something about it.
Right, because I know that way back when, that was when I was given the link to it, and I put it on back in March, I think I put it up, and it was just about Julie and how, because she has been a focus of this whole investigation from the beginning on YouTube, because she has, right from the beginning, she spoke out about defending Chad, and that I know those children are safe and this and that. So that's where she kind of immersed herself in the whole investigation from the get-go. And so then people have all these questions about Julie Rowe. So that voicemail did come up at that point. But it was out there. I had it on mine since March. It wasn't even.
It's been out there for a long time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nobody really even went that route with it until recently. So.
Yeah, and that's when I kind of felt like I had to nip it in the bud, because like I said, I know Julie has no connection to this case, and seeing people, and I don't think they're trying to cause harm to anybody. They're trying to figure things out.
Right.
And I thought, you know what, I think Julie's name needs to be cleared, with this Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow thing. Now, I think Julie has taken advantage of the situation to get into the limelight. She was on Nancy Grace and stuff, and I was completely bewildered when she made the charge that Chad sexually assaulted her or something to that effect, because I had never heard of anything like that. And up to almost the very end, she was saying, what a wonderful guy he was. And then all of a sudden the story's changing, and wow, these kids are really dead. And oh, now Chad sexually assaulted me. So maybe he did. I find the timing and the accusation when it came, it really makes you wonder.
Yeah. I agree. It made me wonder too. It really, to me, wasn't, and I hate to say that when people say that they've been sexually assaulted or abused in any way. I hate to be like, oh, you're lying, but it was all weird. The timing, it just made me gonna go, my feathers ruffled. Like, I don't know if I believe you on this one, Julie,
Right.
Because of how everything unfolded all along from the beginning, where she was defending.
Right. Well, and then, a month prior to of saying that, batting for Chad and saying, well, he's a visionary and he receives these revelations, and really them by their fruits. I always go back to that. Does a guy who's sexually murdering children, but involved in that kind of stuff, but is a guy who's a sexual predator, is he really going to be worthy of receiving revelation and having all these gifts and stuff? It doesn't fit.
It doesn't
fit. And maybe he did, maybe he didn't, but the timing of it all was really strange, and just trying to get into the limelight off that story, it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. There's a question. Do you know Jason Mel?
No, I do not know Jason Mel. I only know him as much as you guys do, just hearing about him. Yeah, I personally don't know Chad. He may have been on a vow at the time. I don't remember. I don't know Lori Vallow, except for what you all know through the stories. So in the people connected to them, really, I just personally know Julie, and she's been in my home. She was in my home one time, and with her husband and her children. They went downstairs to play with my kids, and yeah, so that's the extent of my knowledge.
Okay. There's Leanne says, Adam, do you believe in the thing Julie teaches?
Um, there's principles that Julie teaches that that you probably believe too. That many of us, we believe in Christ. I believe in Christ. I believe He died for my sins. Things like that. But as far as her, I'll call them fringe teachings. The things that she uh, multiple probations. I don't know if you've heard of that, but her sidekick Eric Smith, he got excommunicated from the church for teaching about multiple probations, which the LDS church authorities have said are false doctrines. And basically multiple probations is that Latter-day Saints, we a doctrinal belief we have is that we lived with God before we came here to earth and received a body. But the multiple probations is that, well, you get a second and a third chance and a fourth chance, and you get to come back again and again and again to earth until you get it right. Well, I would ask, what is the point of Christ dying for our sins if that's the case? So I don't agree with it. It's not a teaching that is taught in the church or agreed on by church authorities. So, but yeah. So no, for the most part, there was a time where I believed in Julie's basic principles about getting prepared. I at one time I believe she did have a near-death experience and she saw these things, but then I started seeing contradictions. I started hearing contradictions. Seeing a spirit of fear in certain things, the mental health issues, and I had to put one thing after the other together till finally I had to take a step back and say this just isn't right. And so, but yeah, there's going to be things that she teaches that I agree with that are fundamental Christian teachings, but yeah, there's a lot of those fringe things that I don't agree with, and I'm definitely not a follower of hers anymore. If I were ever to be called a follower, she's sadly been excommunicated from the church. It's my prayer that she works that out.
Yeah.
That she can maybe return to the fold someday.
That would be good. You're right. Especially for her family, if that's a whole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Let's see, Hannah says, Adam, are there still followers of Chad and Lori that may pay for some of their court fees, believing they are the king and queen of the 144,000?
Well, I can take a guess about that. I think for the most part, Chad, Lori, Julie Rowe, all the people that associated with them before, I would guess that most people have dropped off and backed away. I do know though that Julie still has followers. I see comments on her channel and other people, batting for her, and but as far as Chad and Lori are concerned, at the beginning, before the children's bodies were found, I would say definitely yes. They probably did have some friends. I would guess that Christopher Parrott would be one of them. Just right. My guess would be as good as your guys's, because I don't know Christopher Parrott, but I do know in a vow through friends that shared me messages that he was really defending Chad. He was really defending him. So it would have been no surprise to me that in the beginning that they did receive financial support from some people. Right. But I really think all that has probably changed since the evidence is so stacked. The evidence is so stacked against them. I would be really surprised if they were receiving any support at all. And that's my guess. Yeah.
No, it makes sense. And there was that one Facebook group, or page, that one that was like, Lori and Chad didn't do anything wrong, and everybody suspected like Hector was running it, and that Chad's son-in-law was running it, and all that stuff. And I don't even know if that even still exists over there at that point. But I think that anybody that was on their side once those bodies were found, it seemed like everybody, like even Christopher Parrott said, backed way off and was like, okay, I'm eating crow or whatever he had said.
He did, and I got to hand it to him. He publicly admitted that he was wrong, and what I think most people at the time were on a vow from what friends that I know shared with me from the messages on a vow was that most people were they were able to look at everything and say something's not right here. But yeah, Christopher Parrott, and I believe Hector also, they were fighting for Chad up to the very end. But as soon as those bodies were found, there were a few eating crow.
Yeah. Dell says, Julie has women here where I live paying for Julie Rowe's teachings and they don't have money to feed their children. So she's still got like a following like that where they're giving her their money instead of feeding their children.
Yeah, because I'm not connected to Julie anymore. I don't know what's going on. I do know that she still she publicizes her energy teaching, but is that Meredith that asked that?
Yeah.
That's one of those things again, you shall know them by their fruit. I mean, if I'm paying somebody and my children are going hungry, is this coming from a source that's good and right? And is this a source that's coming from God?
Right.
Because really, I mean, come on.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
For sure. Let's see what any of their questions. That's my concern about Julie, the money she collects and the untruth she speaks. Her seminar here in Utah is $300. So yeah, again, that's like what he's saying, she seems to be motivated by money instead of about what the real purpose is.
Yeah, in the LDS church, there's actually a word for that, where you're using spiritual gifts to make money off of, and it's called priestcraft. And that's when someone has been given spiritual gifts, or maybe not spiritual gifts, maybe they're being deceived. But either way, in the name of religion or in the name of God, they're making money. It's like I have this authority from God, and I'm going to make money off of it. And in the LDS church, that's called priestcraft. So that's
Right.
I think that's one of the things Julie said she was charged with from her stake leadership was.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I believe she said that.
Okay. Let's see. A lot of these are repeats, so people probably came in late or whatever, so we're not gonna make you repeat everything again.
Yeah, and feel free to take your time. I have no time constraints right now. So
just looking to see if there's anything I'm missing. Anybody else have any big questions out there? I know it's like hard to catch up with the chat going and then typing. So, let's see this one. Hannah again. Julie claims she attends BYU. Look it up and guess what? Nope, she's an attendant, never attended. So again, that's
Yeah, I believe I heard her in the past say that she attended there, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess there must be a way to look people up.
Yeah.
Meredith says Julie Rose states she was X for priestcraft. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that was. I'm very careful with what I say, and I try. I don't want to misspeak or falsely accuse someone else, especially publicly. So yeah. But I thought that's what Julie herself said. So a lot of things I share is things that Julie's actually said herself.
Yeah. That's Ron Priestcraft and talking about shapeshifters darkness. So that's all obviously not in line with LDS and what they teach. And so
absolutely not. No, and shapeshifters, I don't even know what that is. I think Julie's used that word before. I have absolutely no idea what it is about.
I've heard it like on a science fiction show, but I don't really know what it is either. What's this one? Tell us more about the Pathway group. This one, TCB.
Okay. Well, like I said earlier, it was called Pathway to Zion, and as I'd mentioned earlier that I was a part of a vow, and that's where I met Julie, and Julie was sharing her near-death experiences, and after a while it became quite heated. There was a side that didn't agree with what Julie was saying, and I happened to believe her. I thought she was coming from an honest place, and I've had books on near-death experiences and stuff, and I do believe people have had those experiences. I think you have to be careful with what you read. Some people are trying to just make money, and maybe they're fabricating it or whatnot. But I tend to believe that the people who are you can go on YouTube and maybe a 80-year-old grandma who shares an experience just kind of humbly and is not out to make any money or anything. I really do take into account those kind of things. And it's not like I put my belief into that necessarily or what they say, but it's something that, well, that's interesting, And so Pathway Design basically was formed because it was becoming quite contentious in a vow. It was a place that was friendlier without the contention. People that were friendly with Julie Rowe and kind of liked her message with Hector's message. Hector also claimed to have visionary gifts and whatnot, and just a place that wouldn't charge money just to come on, and we asked people to use their real name, use their real identity. We wanted to be real, and we wanted to be sincere, and really there was a lot of good things that came. It wasn't you have people who subscribe to some weird things like the call out and stuff. There's a lot of people on pathway to Zion that embrace the call out principle. I did at that time. I thought I was always like, this is something that could happen. I didn't know if it would be for sure, but it was something that definitely I entertained in my mind. But that was Pathway to Zion, and it ran for was a year or so ago that I left Pathway to Zion shortly after Julie started showing all of these signs, and I started listening closer to my church leaders, and started to really think about things, and realized I was spending too much time in all this, and I decided to back away from Pathway to Zion. I was still a member, but I backed off as administrator and basically handed everything over to Hector. Like, Hector, it's your baby, let's you take care of it now. And he did do most of the work and setting it up and whatnot, because he's really good with those things. And but yeah, after Julie Rose, the voicemail and just things after that, I decided this is just taking up too much of my time, and I'm too many doubts and too much craziness and too much fear. And but there's good things, and there's good people, and I don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because there was a lot of good, and I made a lot of great friends that I still talk to today, both from Avow, and I have a few close friends, and they're members of the church, and I visit them personally, and we've had dinners together, and they're just wonderful people. But I needed to get away from all that. And then Pathway to Zion, Hector, when all this Daybell case came out and whatnot, I think maybe it was before that, I don't remember exactly when, but the church was starting to crack down on these fringe groups and people that were teaching some of these, like multiple probations, and people were getting excommunicated and whatnot. And I think it probably struck a little concern in Hector, and he made that announcement to all the Pathway to Zion members that he was closing down the site. So that was a decision that he made.
He made that. Okay. Yeah. Got it. What is Isabel's question? What's the special LDS book and a part missing that Little Bear knows to have found in these missing pages? Little Bear.
Yeah, I know about that. I think it's a bunch of fraud of what it is. Little Bear claims, so if you're familiar with LDS doctrine and LDS history, we have the Book of Mormon, which is a second testament of Jesus Christ. It's a companion volume-ship that we believe to be a Bible, to the Bible, and we have that as a second witness that Christ, after in his resurrection, came and visited the ancient inhabitants of America. And so that's the Book of Mormon. Well, when Joseph received the plates of brass, which contain the ancient writings of these people in ancient America, there was a sealed portion of those plates that he was not allowed to. They were sealed, and he was not allowed to unseal those. And so my understanding from this Little Bear, and I know Julie Rose gotten together with him, was that my understanding might be incorrect, but this is my understanding, was that he had some access to those missing pages or something, and was going to been given to him and reveal that. And I believe it's a bunch of hogwash. That no one's ever produced anything, and it's either so it could be in reference to the sealed portion of the plates, or there was also some missing manuscripts from Doctrine and Covenants, and those are revelations that Joseph Smith received when he was restoring the church. It could also be in reference to those missing manuscripts that he somehow got. I'm not sure which. It's one of those. It's been a few years, so I don't recall which, but I don't believe that the Lord works that way. And I think it's a bunch of hogwash, to be honest.
Okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
And
unfortunately, this kind of stuff, church history has enough strange and unusual things as it is. I can admit that for myself, which probably most church histories do. There's going to be some strange things that scratch our heads, things happen at a certain time and maybe we don't understand it, why it happened then for whatever reason. And the Lord often works in mysterious ways. And, we try to rely on our faith and we try to rely on the Holy Spirit to help us out. But it's just, the Lord seems to work in certain patterns. And when you see people veering off into these strange places, claiming to have this or claiming to have that, it's not the pattern that he set up. So,
Yeah. Makes sense for sure. Okay. Let's see. Anybody else got any? Let's look here.
I don't even know if you can see me that well, Kathy, because my
I can see it good, actually, believe it or not.
My 14-year-old has a house full of like 20 friends. She's having a birthday party, so I had to run to the vehicle to get some peace and quiet so I could do this. So I apologize.
Whatever works. Let's see. Leanne says Dan Judd said he had them. So I don't know who Dan Judd is. I'm on that one. Is that somebody else connected to the whole Little Bear thing? Okay.
Yeah, I really don't know too much about that, except that a claim was made and people were saying, okay, if the proof is in the pudding, if you have it, show it. And nobody's produced anything. So
let's see. Julie Rowe will clear a time for you, individual proxy sessions. She works from her house to clear energy for you. You can go on a day and trust that she's clearing your energy for $50. So again, it's the same thing. It's like, she's making money at this, and she was, ex from the church, and she still continued to do what she was doing.
I would like to warn your viewers, anyone who's dabbling in this energy healing stuff, to be extremely careful. And I would say stay away from it, because I think it's dangerous. I've heard of people who have done these things and it really screwed them up spiritually, physically. Yeah. I'd warn others. I never dabbled in that. I never knew much about it. It always seemed kind of strange and different to me. I know that there are some people who really believe that there's a light side of energy healing and there's a dark side. Well, okay, what authority do you have to help me know if it's light or dark? It's like, so I really don't buy into it.
Right. Why would you know? Right. Makes sense. Yeah. Leanne, have you been to a Preparing a People meeting? Have you been to any of those? No?
Nope. I think those those Preparing a People, I think those took place in Utah. I live in Missouri, so
yeah.
I've never been to any meetings like that.
Right. And in Arizona, I think that was all that whole.
Okay. Yeah. There's a large LDS population in Arizona, and it sounds like these PAP meetings were basically just kind of preparedness things, and they had different speakers and stuff. So I think maybe in of itself, the general idea seems pretty innocent. I don't know if it was connected to the, I'm pretty sure it wasn't connected to the church at all. So
right. I know. Was it Nancy, the James, they're the ones that organize it or whatever, the speaking engagements, and they've closed up the shop because initially when this whole thing came out, everybody was misinformed that Preparing a People was the actual cult. And so it kind of messed up what they do, but it sounds like
that's kind of sad. Sad it happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like those people, they were just using that as a platform, as just one of their other events, and it seemed to kind of ruin their business, which was unfortunate.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Isabel says, Leanne, remember the name of the intelligence security company Parrott was member? Well, they're trying to, I don't know what they're talking. Let's see. Does Julie have kids? Yes, she does. Adam was saying she has a nice family, husband.
She has a very nice family. I believe her second son has served a mission or is just serving a mission, started several months back. But yeah, I've personally met her children, said hi to them. That's pretty much it. But yeah, she has a very nice family. And her husband, Jeff, he is a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful guy. And when they came over to visit us for the first time, I mean, at that time it was an honor. And I thought, at that time I thought Julie really did have visionary gifts, and I believe these things. And to have her come over into our home for dinner, it was an honor. And I was dismayed though, because my wife and I were really interested in talking to Jeff too, and it was unfortunate that he wasn't given a lot of time to talk, and Julie tended to cut him off and stuff like that. And my heart really went out to him, because he is a wonderful guy. He's a wonderful guy, and she has a wonderful family. So there's good things happening too. But definitely there was this constant need and craving for attention and being in the limelight, and so.
Which could go right hand in hand with any kind of mental health disorders that she might have. I don't know what her diagnosis is,
Sure.
but you know, she probably, you know, a lot of them is a spectrum. So, and if she's been forthcoming that she does have those issues, you know, all you got to do is feel good enough and not take your medication for a week or so, and all of a sudden you spiral again. So any of that, the voicemail, different things that, and I think a level of some people with mental health, severe mental health issues, the level of paranoia is always there. You know, I mean, as a nurse, I've talked to people and they can convince you. Like I remember when I was in nursing school, and this woman had this stack of folder of papers, and she was convinced she was working for the government. She was stopping all child molesters. She was like very adamant, articulated everything really well, and you would have actually thought she was, except for she was this homeless lady living in Santa Ana, and she, you know, with her pile of papers. But talking to her,
I remember one time, Julie, on the phone, she told me that the time would come that she would, when the foreign troops arrive to this continent, which is something that she shared, that there'll be Chinese and Russian troops invading this country. And there are a lot of people who think that could happen, you know, who knows. But she says that the time will come that she would stand in front of the children and absorb the bullets to protect the children. So very much this savior type mentality, protecting. And again, I think it comes from a place in her heart where she wants to do good things and has a love for children and others. But, you know, that's obviously, you know, I'm going to stand in front of children and I'm going to absorb bullets and all these things. It just seems really far-fetched, you know?
Right. Yeah. Isabel says, pray for Julie that she will stop doing this and start over. Hit the life reset button. Yeah, that's what she needs.
That's a great prayer. And I have prayed for her. I need to pray more. I haven't prayed enough for her, but I need to do that.
Leanne says, what's your opinion on Chad's light and dark and zombies?
Well, you know, to be honest, I don't know too much about that. What I will tell you is that my understanding was that Julie, and I'm not going to say I know this for sure, but this was made by my understanding that other people that were close to Julie, that she actually assigned light and dark numbers to people as well. Now, I'm not going to say that's a fact. I'm saying that's what I heard. It's just hearsay. Which is interesting because Chad did the same thing. So it makes me wonder if when they were close and getting along, were they both a part of that? As far as my opinion on light and dark zombies and assigning numbers of spiritual light to people, I think it's all from the devil. Oh. Yeah, we're not supposed to judge each other, right?
Right.
Isn't assigning a level of light and dark? I mean, we can all perceive levels of light in people. I do believe that. I mean, I can see someone that maybe's lived a pretty rough life and coming from a place that maybe's not so good, you know.
Right.
And I can, you know, we can discern that, you know, I don't feel real safe around this person. And then we see other people who are maybe just spiritual powerhouses that have a close relationship to things that are good and, you know, good fruit, of someone who produces good fruit, and we can see these things. So, but you know, this assigning numbers to people, that sounds like a judgment to me. You know, I read some of the emails that came out from, you know, Chad, you know, assigning different levels of light or darkness to, I don't know, his ancestors or Lori's ancestors or family members and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then the children, I think this is all from the pits of hell, to be quite honest.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that, you know, he put himself in this position where he's blasphemous. Like you're saying you're God and you can decide who has light and dark, and that's not for us humans to decide by any means, you know?
Yeah, and to lead the 144,000, it says in the Bible that I believe it says, doesn't it say the 144,000, they're high priests?
Right.
And to subscribe themselves to that they're going to be these high priests, and it's just, I don't know. But isn't that the way Satan works? Always wanting us to think that we're all that in a bag of
Right.
chips. You know?
Totally.
So
Yeah.
where Christ would teach us, no, we're to be humble, and
Right.
we're to avoid pride, and things like that. So it's the antithesis of everything that Christ teaches, it seems to be.
Perfect. Yep. 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 So yeah, like all this went all the way back with that original zombie email and different things that were then, and then Ian's information where he flat out said that these were people were labeled this and that, and all that stuff all tied together. But it just really, in the end, in my opinion, it made Chad and Lori look like they wanted to be this king and queen of the world, and we're trying to suck people in. And they did obviously a lot of damage. I mean,
Yeah.
they're dead children. So, even Melanie Gibb, it's funny because people would say, a lot of people still think that she has something to do with this. I think she got sucked in just like other people do, for sure.
Yeah, she did.
But,
I think she's a good person that got sucked in, and unfortunately even lied. She lied to the police. She admitted that. And someone asked if I know Melanie Gibb. I don't know her any better than you do, just seeing her in the media, I mean, online and stuff. So
right.
I've never personally met her.
Let's see. I'm trying. I just saw one, and then it popped. Oh, do you believe? Okay. Just scroll for a second. Okay, Isabel says, do you believe Chad's children are brainwashed? Isabel speaks French, so she translates stuff, so it always comes off a little bit. I have to retranslate, Isabel. Do you believe Chad's children are brainwashed, when maybe even Tammy was?
My personal opinion is I think look at the power he's had over Lori. Look at the power he's had over other females. They said in the groups that he had that he especially had some type of impact or impression on the females, and that they would group around him and stuff. I think he was very convincing. So my opinion is that he probably did have quite a bit of influence over his children. That would be my opinion, and my opinion is as good as yours. So.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, where is April tonight? If I'm right, Lori, she could be a member of the 144,000 if she got rid of her kids. God would never ask us to leave little children or babies. No way. Yeah, April Raymond had said that Lori had told her, guess what? Good news. You get to be one of the 144,000, but you can't bring your kids. And she said, okay, no. Yeah, she's been interviewed about that. So.
Now, isn't that interesting? What did Christ teach? That the kingdom of heaven is like unto a child, right? And so it goes completely the other direction. Forget the children. You're all that, so it's complete opposite of everything. It's the antithesis.
Right. Absolutely. Julie Rowe believed in zombies. Did she ever talk about did she ever bring up zombies to you?
I never heard Julie use the word zombie to me.
Okay.
I heard her, talk about dark spirits and dark entities and, things like that. But the actual word zombie, I don't recall Julie ever using that. I don't think she has. I think the zombie word came up more with the Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow thing. I think they started using that word not because they necessarily believed in a literal zombie, but that it was an easy word to apply to a dark entity, maybe.
It made sense if you think about it, like they've been taken over, because that's what the zombie TV did.
Yeah, JJ was taken over. Yeah, right. That innocent little boy, right, who has special needs. And I'll tell you, from an LDS standpoint, children or whoever is born into this life with special needs, it's actually because they're such special spirits that they have those challenges, that they accepted those challenges in this life because it would be even better for them for their growth and progression in this life and in the next life. So that JJ was a special boy, very special.
Right.
And so was Tylee. We have to include Tylee in that too. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. Oh, Dallas, portals. Ever heard about the portals before this?
I'm trying to remember. I don't ever recall Julie ever using the word portals. So yeah, yeah, that's
another.
yeah, that's another one.
Okay. Let's see. So anyone else before we wrap up? Any other questions? Thank you, Adam, for being here. I really appreciate it. I was like so happy that you said that you would interview because I think it's important, really. And I agree with you that, Julie Rowe doesn't need to be accused of being part of the murder of these children because she has her, I don't know my word, she has her wackadoodle issues, but she's not, I don't believe that she's involved. And I think that's a huge accusation that can destroy her own family.
Yeah, definitely. And thank you for opening up this forum, letting me come on and share this with you, because I think it's important that the truth prevail, and it's going to come out sooner or later in all areas. But it's I felt some responsibility because, I do play a small role in all this. It's very small, but I'm not trying to get any attention or anything, but I do think it's only fair to Julie that the record's straight, from someone who personally knew her and associated with her and knew about that voicemail, and that it stems from 2016, to say that in no way whatsoever is it connected to Chad Daybell or Lori Vallow.
Yeah, and that's the right thing to do. I mean, it was your voicemail, and now it's got all this viral stuff going on, and people thinking that Julie had. So it's the right thing to do, and I appreciate it. I'm glad. And I'm sure Julie, once she hears about this, she'll appreciate it as well. I would imagine, because we don't want people to think that she had anything to do with the murder, especially when that voicemail has nothing to do with that. So
well, and I think sometimes the way she comes across, and sometimes the contradiction, everything, I can understand why people think, well, maybe there's a connection here, because she said this last month and now she's completely flipped and she's saying this, and so people don't know what to believe. So so I think it's good to help get the truth out for things.
Right. I mean, I did a video on all the contradictions that Julie's saying this and then this and this, way back. So yeah, she does contradict herself, and it does make people go, wait, what?
Yeah.
So
Very often. So.
Yeah. Okay, Leanne has one more question here. Did she use secret combinations? Julie.
Okay, so the word secret combinations is a word I'm very familiar with, being a Latter-day Saint. The question, the way it's worded, is kind of confusing to me. Using secret combinations, I'm not exactly sure what Leanne means by that. Secret combinations, from an LDS perspective, is basically, I don't know, you've heard of things like the Illuminati, or you've heard of these powerful underground organizations that want to take away our rights and our freedoms, and they want to have power, and they want to I don't know, population control. And you hear of these powerful groups that exist, organizations that the Antichrist type groups and things like that. So that would be more of a LDS perspective of what secret combinations is. So do I believe that Julie Rowe is involved in some type of groups that are Antichrist and want to take away our freedoms and take the freedom from this land and things like that? I don't believe so. I'm not sure exactly what using secret combinations means in that context. That's confusing to me, but from the LDS perspective I gave you, that would be my.
That makes sense, but I didn't understand what they meant by secret combinations. So that makes sense.
The word secret combinations comes from the Book of Mormon, and it talked, the ancient people, among them, they were ultimately destroyed because they allowed secret combinations to come amongst them, which ended up into the loss of their freedoms and liberties, and it was everything opposite to what Christ taught them, and it basically overthrew them, and it ended up in their destruction. So I'll make a disclaimer that I'm not official spokesman for the church. So if I get anything wrong, I'm not a scriptorian. I apologize.
Right. I totally get it. Yeah. No, we really appreciate it though, because we do have so many questions. So it's really nice to have someone like you who knows, that can answer these questions. So very much appreciated.
Well, and Kathy, I just want to thank you, because you have of all of these different channels that exist, there's a couple really good ones out there who are really fair and balanced with things, and you have you've been very fair in all of this and very kind and good to others. And your reporting has been great. And that's why from the very beginning, I felt that from you. And that's why I did share so many things with you, because I knew that I'd be safe sharing those things with you, and you wouldn't twist them or take them into a dark place. And so I appreciate all the work you've done.
Thank you. And I appreciate everything. You've been a great support from the beginning. I was going to say, like, I think you've been following my channel since I had about 100 people, subscribers.
Yeah. And it's been great. It's been
awesome. And it's grown so well. And I'm happy about that. And for people like you being part of the community makes it grow, I like that.
It's my pleasure to be able to help out. And I hope your viewers, I hope what I've shared is something of worth to them. And hopefully what I've shared, they believe it to be true. I have no reason to make up any of this stuff. I don't try to get online to, put my name out there or anything else, but I do think certain truths need to be addressed and brought out there.
Yeah. Well, you have been very quiet. You haven't been out there from the beginning. You just been kind of in the background, which
I got 4 kids and my wife and a job, and I'm trying to make ends meet like everyone else. So life's busy. I don't have time for that.
Right. But we appreciate you, and I hope you're going to continue to follow the channel. Maybe we'll talk again.
Okay. It's been my pleasure, Kathy.
So, and I think I think we covered everything. I'm really happy. So thank you, Adam. I'll let you get back to your family and your
Alrighty.
Wife.
Okay. Thank you, Kathy.
All right. I will talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, that was fun. So that was really cool, you guys. I'm really happy that Adam got to be here. And I know he probably had a busy day, and then he was in a hurry to get back to do this. So didn't want to keep him too long, because I guarantee you guys we could have had a million more questions for him. But what a nice man, right? Such a nice guy. I mean, just super respectful and answered the questions that you guys all had. I really, really appreciate it. Very great guest. And if I missed anybody with the super chats, I appreciate it. I'm sorry, we were talking and it's kind of hard to, I don't want to interrupt, but I did see them. And thank you, Ron. Very much appreciated. I got a lot to do to get this channel, keep it going. But right now, once I'm done getting settled in I'll show you like my empty house. I think I have nothing. I got a chair. We're getting there, and boxes and everything else. So trying to get settled. Thank you, Funda Cruz, for the super sticker. So once I get settled and get my little office set up again and everything, we will continue back on the every Saturday morning, and then obviously any other time that something comes up. That's why I didn't do it this morning, because Adam was offered to come on and let me interview him, and I was like, absolutely, whatever time, right? And no chickens. Chickens are still up there with the kids. So I still got a lot to do. My actual furniture is coming in the pod. It isn't even here, but my refrigerator got delivered today, so I did my Walmart pickup. So I got groceries now. So I've been eating out nonstop, for forever, I feel like. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Coming in now, please put up, I love your channel. I hate so badly. I just got in. Well, I will. I'll post it for you guys, so you can go back and watch the interview with Adam and the other stuff. Oh, you got your you bought one. You got your Left Undone shirt today. Thank you so much for buying one. I really appreciate that. And if you hit the like button, I'd appreciate that too, And then, thank you. I'm just kind of like scanning here because I don't want to miss any. I am in my new house, semi-in. I physically am in. My dog is here. My cat is here. And I got the things that I ordered off of Amazon and that were delivered are here, but my actual pod with all my belongings aren't here yet. But it's a bigger house than I had there. And so I had to get things. I got to get these, got some new chairs, and I got these I'll show you like I'm trying to do a more of a modern little theme here. So I got these bar stool chairs. It's not even on my desk yet, but these are for the bar. And you know, the colors are a little bit different than my other house, so it costs money to move and and definitely spending it. So let's see. Adam is very like another Adam you will meet in court, Lori's brother Adam, very polite and soft-spoken, also good. Oh, good to know. Very good to know. All right, Isabel, go to bed, lady. You are tired, I can tell. Well, this is my, you know, I already got this mishap from putting my house together. So, whoa, we got, hopefully I won't hurt anything else because my leg is still messed up. What happened to my finger? I was opening I saw your comment here. Right here. What happened to my finger? What happened to your finger? So I sliced it right there with a knife, right on the knuckle. And as soon as I did it, I was just like, I'm getting blood on my new house. So I wrapped it and put myself in the car and went to urgent care, get it stitched up. So that's what happened. And it's on the knuckle, so I can't really bend it. So it's just a nightmare. Just, you know, and like I said earlier, I'm like, well, so the knife was in a package and I was trying to take it out, but I was staring at the TV and watching something. And I was trying to slip off. There's like you know how they put like those plastic, like little plastic things that you have to cut. They look like a twist tie, but they're hard plastic. So I wound up cutting it. It wouldn't cut, right? So then I'm like, well, I can just slide it off. So I was trying to slide it off, and it slipped and cut me. You know, the problem is they decided to do Dermabond, which works. We use them in C-sections, like on the incision. So the doctor's like, well, I can stitch it or Dermabond. What do you want? And I'm like, you could try the Dermabond. So he tried Dermabond, but he wasn't sure it was going to work, and I wasn't sure it was going to work. And of course, after we did that and we wrapped it, he's like, don't bend it. I probably should have just went for the stitches. Yeah, because no typing for me. I really need this finger for work. And so so it's Dermabond right now. But then the next morning, it was oozing again. So I had my friend who is a nurse bring me some more Dermabond. Won't mention any names, but she got me some Dermabond from work. So now I had to put another, you know, more and wrap it again and redo it. So I'm hoping that that's it and it'll heal now, because it was deep. It really did need stitches. I personally was like, I should have just had stitches, to be honest, because I feel like this is more trouble. Because if I would have just got stitches, I could have just put a non-stick pad over it. More wouldn't have been so weird, but now I can't bend it. Yes, I need to be wrapped in bubble wrap. Exactly. Type with the other 9 fingers and the right pointer finger letters, just hit space bar. The brain will fill in the missing letters. Type with the other 9. Okay. I'll try, because I type a lot for my job. Being a case manager, I'm charting all the time. So I have till Monday to get back to work. So I'm gonna go, and I appreciate you guys. Thank you for being here. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Really want to get to that 10,000. It's like my goal right now is the 10,000 subscribers. I'll be a happy camper with that one. And remember, you know, just in January, I only had 100 subscribers. So I'm happy, and I appreciate you guys all for being such a great part of the community. And yes, we want to thank Adam for setting the record straight about the voicemail and so much more. That was really enlightening and very helpful. And I gave him the opportunity to come on, and he absolutely offered. Actually, he offered, because I knew, I was like, that all the controversy out there with this voicemail thing. But he's been such a nice, great support person of the channel from the beginning, you guys, from the beginning. So I really appreciate you guys being here and listening to him. And maybe we'll talk again, hopefully. All right. So I'm going to go chill out, go find something to watch on TV because I don't feel like putting any more furniture together right now. My kids will be out here to do it. And at least I have a recliner to sit in. All right, guys. Love you all. Thank you. Be safe. Stay well. And I will see you all Saturday. All right. And members, we're going to have to figure out, we got to squish in a happy hour. So I'll let you know what's going on because like I said, I got my mom's coming by Friday or Saturday. I got to get her settled in. She's 83 and she's going to be living here with me. I'm moving her in. So that's going to be a little bit of adjustment, but she's very happy and very excited. But I wanted to get settled before I got her here. So, all right. I've said goodbye 100 times, so I'm going to go. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.